Bolton Wanderers played host to Derby County in their magnificent new Reebok Stadium. The state-of-the-art facility cost £13 million and had become Bolton's home at the start of the 97-98 season. The two sides were meeting for the first time ever in the Premier League after Bolton had gained promotion by winning the First Division. Derby were in their second season. They'd finished 12th at the first attempt. Bolton manager Colin Todd had been at the club for nearly 2 years. He'd made big changes to a team that also included his son Andy. The defender had joined in 1995 and been a regular fixture throughout the season for the Trotters. First choice keeper Keith Brannigan was injured, so Gavin Ward took his place. Jimmy Phillips and Chris Fairclough came in, and veteran Peter Beardsley was recalled because of an injury to Dean Holdsworth. Group therapy was needed for Derby on their travels. They'd lost 6 out of 8 games on the road, but they could look to the return of Croatian international Igor Stimac. He'd recovered from a back problem to shore up the defence, while Sturridge, Baiano and the unpredictable Costa Rican Paulo Wanchope offered plenty of attacking options. The cold December evening didn't deter the fans from turning out in force, making it a near-to-capacity Reebok Stadium. A new Premiership fixture, and one that certainly made its mark. Your match commentator is John Champion.
Well, there is a sense of history about this meeting of Bolton Wanderers and Derby County. Both founder members of the Football League back in 1888. And their first ever game on the 8th of September that year was Bolton Wanderers 3, Derby County 6 at Bolton's old Pikes Lane ground. They've met many times in the interim, and they're pretty evenly matched coming into this game. Derby have had the better of the season so far, but Bolton have home advantage, and that's where 3 of their 4 victories, all 1-0, have come this season. They've beaten Chelsea, Wimbledon and Newcastle here at their new home, playing in front of big crowds, around about 23,000 this evening. Pollock's header, and then a very wayward effort by Igor Stimac, most uncharacteristic, and Bolton have the bonus of a corner. For 102 years, Burnden Park was Bolton's home, same length of time as Derby spent at the baseball ground, and they, like Bolton, moved stadiums, moved homes at the start of this season. Sellers with the kick, and Blake against the frame of the goal and out again, and Beardsley with the follow-up, and it ricocheted away off Rob Kozlak. It's a devil of a ball to defend from Sellers, and then the header from Blake beat the goalkeeper but not the wood. Sellers again, Rowett away, back whence it came with Scott Sellers. And Paum got nowhere particularly close to it, but he was fouled. Nathan Blake had the chance of chances amidst all that, though, and his header hit not only the crossbar but also grazed the post on the way down. And then Beardsley was blocked by Kozlak. Pollock, combative former Middlesbrough midfielder. The decision is Derby's, though. Amazing the effect a new ground has had on home form for both these clubs. Derby still unbeaten, 8 games into their home season at Pride Park, 6 wins and 2 draws, and Bolton have only been beaten once here in the Premier League by Aston Villa. Beardsley. It's Alan Thompson. Sellers. Thompson. He'll get another chance. Beardsley. And Rowett nodded behind. Safety first from Gary Rowett. Still quite a presence on a football pitch, Peter Beardsley, at the age of 36. Sellers. Goalkeeper came through a crowd of players and collected at the second attempt. Andy Todd, the manager's son, was amongst those making it awkward for him. It's a free kick to Bolton. And this is just about within range for Alan Thompson if he chooses to go direct. He's coming off his long run. Thompson, it's Bergson! Well, if that was planned, it was very clever. If it was spontaneous, it was slightly fortuitous. Bergson's redirection of Thompson's drive, hitting the outside of the post. Carsley. Bolton seeking to avoid what happened to them 18 months ago when they were relegated after just one season in the Premier League. Under the managerial guidance of Roy McFarland. They're making a rather better fist of it this time under Colin Todd. This is Thompson, who goes down under the challenge of Stimats. The referee was well placed and said no free kick. Fairclough. Nice turn, Scott Sellers. Oh, Beardsley's won it back. Here's Thompson. Rowett intervenes this time. Bolton asking serious questions of the Derby backline. Beardsley feeding Thompson and Rowett to the rescue. Thompson. There's Pollock. And Franson. Bolton have contributed enough in an attacking sense to perhaps deserve the lead now. Derby's away form, and I think Paul did get a slight touch on that. Has not been the best under Jim Smith this season. They've lost 6 of their 8 away fixtures in the Premier League, including 4-0 at Chelsea last time out. Sturridge. Showed too much of it to Todd. Foul. Beardsley impeded by Daly. Referee unhappy with the placement of the ball. Uriah Rennie from Sheffield is in charge this evening. Todd taking his time. He's going to be shouting at him if he's not careful. Thompson. Pollock. Derby have to be watchful here. It's Nathan Blake trying to curl one. Six Premier League goals so far this season for Nathan Blake. There's always been a suspicion that he's perhaps a very good player at Division 1 level, not so useful in the Premier League. Maybe that's unfair. One chop. And into trouble in the form of Todd. And the arm wrestle for supremacy goes on. Nathan Blake. Sellers was setting himself. Daly heads behind. And Bolton have had all this pressure, and yet have nothing to show for it, and that's been their problem. 13 goals scored in 17 league games so far. That's all. Scott Sellers, back from Pollock with a better angle. Came off one shot for another corner. Beardsley. Colin Todd played for Derby when they won the championship in the early 70s. Here's a chance for Beardsley. Well, he wasn't the first player in that move with the opportunity to strike it. Andy Todd had first option, chose not to. And Beardsley couldn't keep the shot down sufficiently well. Looks like we're going to head in goalless. There's the whistle. Well, Bolton have definitely had the better of it. Andy Todd and Peter Beardsley very much to the fore. But at half-time here at the Reebok Stadium, it is still resolutely goalless, 0-0 between Bolton and Derby. Derby get the second half underway. They've been cautious on their travels of late because of those hefty defeats they've suffered. 6 of their 8 Premier League victories this season have come at Pride Park. They're currently 8th in the table. They're looking to pick up their away form. 2 victories on the road at Sheffield Wednesday and at Leicester. Referee wants words with Gary Rowett. Challenge from behind on Blake. And a bookable one. To take this. Blake. Sellers. Kozlik for a corner. Sellers has always taken a good corner throughout his career. That area of uncertainty at the near post, where it's won by Pollock. Sellers again. Beardsley! Took a slight deflection. To wait a long time for it to come down. And clipped his own man, Andy Todd, on the way through. Daly. Beardsley buzzing around to some effect, but he's not got the throw this time. It's the Croatian Stimac. Sturridge. Kozlik. Sellers. Thompson. This is more promising for Bolton anyway. It's Franson. And he goes down under the challenge of Stimac. It's a penalty. Per Franson upended by Igor Stimac. Plenty of contact there. It's not worth the argument. responsibility lays squarely on the shoulders of Alan Thompson. 5 minutes played, second half. Bolton in front. And they deserve that lead. Paul got a reasonably firm right hand to it. Couldn't guide it round the post. Chris Powell. Sellers. There's Rowett. Side near the bottom, leading the team from the top 8. That's offside against Nathan Blake. It's unusual to see Igor Stimac having such an uncomfortable time of it, and in fact Blake was being played on there. The wrong call from the linesman. That's a good ball. Here's Aranio. That's a good goal. Stefano Aranio, formerly of AC Milan, draws Derby level at the Reebok from the cutest of passes from his countryman Francesco Baiano. Great understanding between the two. And a flowing move at odds with the game in general. One chop. Aranio finding Lee Carsley. Powell. Carsley. Baiano. Aranio. Baiano. And now Sturridge. And Franson got a foot in. One shot now. Sellers got to that. And Derby have a corner. But they might have had something more than that. And the two Italians are beginning to play now, Aranio and Baiano. And as a result, Derby look a threat. Sturridge. Aranio. Jim Smith, hopeful of something good happening. Painful time when they were behind, but now they're slugging it out on terms. Although Stimac has been forced into giving away a corner. An hour played at the Reebok. And a difficult one to call this. Both sides have enjoyed periods of dominance. Bolton certainly bossed much of the first half. Thompson, well tackled by Aranio. Carsley was chopped down by Todd, but that's a good advantage. Played by Uriah Rennie. Baiano. Maybe that referee Rennie will revisit that foul by Andy Todd. Here though is Sturridge. And Baiano scores! Derby have turned this game around. 10 minutes ago they trailed, now they lead. And it's the Italian influence that's serving them so well. Sturridge's run down the right, forcing the parry from Gavin Ward. And on hand to finish in some style was Francesco Baiano. Dean Sturridge. Parsley. One chop. That was a good effort. Well, if there is to be a man of the match, the biggest second half contender so far has been Stefano Aranio. Didn't do much in the first period, but is running the second. Parsley. Aranio. One chop. Jimmy Phillips. He succeeded in clearing as far as Chris Powell. Here's Baiano, give and go with Sturridge, that's lovely! Derby lead 3-1, and there's a second for the Italian Baiano. 11 for the season, for the man who forged his reputation in Serie A with Napoli and Parma and Fiorentina, and now in the English Premier League is contributing fully to the Derby cause. It's a coach's dream, that goal. Well, a Derby coach's dream anyway. Blake. Sellers. There's a fair amount of disquiet around the stands of the Reebok at the moment. Here's Thompson, and Blake's header is a very good one. And Bolton have time, including additional time. They've probably got 20 minutes here. It's a classic centre-forward's header, down and across the goalkeeper. Salute from the manager. Igor Stimats. Aranio felt he was fouled by Thompson. More importantly, referee Rennie didn't. And this is Franson hurdling the challenge of Stimats. Nice back heel. Pollock, 3-3. The first half of this game was eminently forgettable. The second half will linger a long time in the memory. We've now had 6 goals in the space of 22 minutes. And some of the goals like this one have been excellent. Jim Smith doesn't know whether he's coming or going. Phillips, Largson. Sturridge. Stimats. Derby must have thought a quarter of an hour ago that 3 points were theirs for the taking, leading 3-1. Bolton produced a sterling fight back. Here's Baiano. No one there to attack the cross. And the final tangle of an absorbing second half between Bergson and Chris Powell ends in smiles, handshakes and a hug. Terrific second half entertainment. Bolton led 1-0, trailed 3-1. It's finished 3-3 thanks to Jamie Pollock. Aranio was outstanding. Bolton 3, Derby County 3.
An extraordinary second half that saw all 6 goals scored in the space of a remarkable 27 minutes. Come the end of the season, Bolton would regret the fact that they couldn't score as regularly in every game, as they found themselves relegated on goal difference just behind Everton. No such problems for Jim Smith's Derby County, who finished 9th, their second best Premiership finish. Sadly for the Rams, though,